I was living with my grandmother when I was 6, and since I like fruit a lot, grandmother gave me fruit to eat in the absence of my parent. It was pineapple. The day I ate the fruit, in the night I saw that I left my body and flew in space, and I found myself in a mysterious world, walking the beautiful street. Beside me was a beautiful lady that accompanied me. My grandmother that gave me witchcraft was not there. I asked the beautiful lady, where is this place? This kingdom is luxurious and beautiful. I like it. She told me, it's indeed a beautiful place, and I saw that it was a luxurious kingdom and was more beautiful than human cities on earth. I said it's really beautiful, and this diva led me to a tour of this beautiful realm of the fallen angels, and I contemplated the advancement and beauty of this mysterious dimension underwater. During the visit she led me to visit the chambers of captive in the marine kingdom, where souls of men and women were in captivity. Afterward we went to the chambers of decapitation, which is called the butchery, where the captive were decapitated. Then we traveled to the prison chambers where people bodies were cooked. There were huge saucepans where they cook people bodies, who were decapitated in the butchery. The visit ended and I returned to the surface, and the following day when I traveled to the kingdom underwater, to my great surprise I saw my grandmother that initiated me, and I was in shock, and I asked her, "Grandmother, what are you doing here?" She told me, "Keep quiet and sit down." When I sat down, she joined people who were dressed in red cassock and were hooded. They began to do incantation. They made a circle, and inside the circle was a photo of a young woman that was surrounded by red candle, and these wizards were also dressed in red and were summoning the spirit of this woman to appear where we were underwater. I was surprised when I saw the woman that was on the photo appearing right in the middle of these witches as a result of magic prayer. It was a paranormal demonstration, for this was a world of magic, and I found it to be fun, and I wanted to learn more about these mysteries and practice them. I was still a child in the physical world, but in the spirit I was already a young lady, not a child. When I returned to Earth, sometime later my companion the diva joined me, accompanied with witches. They came out of the wall of my compound. No one was able to see them except me, yet it was broad day. I was happy to see her in the physical. She began to do massage on my back and told me, "This is so that you will be able to travel to the submarine world by yourself without my help. You can come when you want." Then she placed water on my eyes. As a result my spiritual vision opened and I began to see the terrible things of the spiritual world. I began to see unclean spirit that move on the earth, that ordinary people don't see. It was horror to see the unseen world and demon that follow people as they walk in the street. I sat inside the house but could see outside as if the walls were there. When it was night, my companion the marine diva did not come to take me as usual, but I saw a car stopped in front of our compound and the door was opened. I was called to enter the car, which took me to the marine world. Upon my arrival in this universe beneath the water, I joined a ceremonial ritual of my crowning. I knelt down and was given wings to fly, and I was named Marie Theresa, which was the name of a spiritual wife, an incubus that molest men in the dream. I was given power of domination and my power was reinforced. After receiving the new name of this diva of the ocean and sea kingdom, I was instructed to drink dirty water that had unclean spirit, and when I drank that water I felt that I was not alone, for I was now inhabited by many unclean spirit. That's when I was asked to offer my sister in human sacrifice. I had no choice but agree, but when I went to attack my sister to kill her, I was stopped by a powerful and a mysterious light that blocked my way, and I was unable to kill her. I decided to seek assistance from the witches of the family to get support and try again. They accepted my request for assistance and joined me in this operation of destruction. When the D-Day of my sister destruction came, I was joined with the witches of the family to her place, and when we lifted evil arrow in order to pierce her, we were projected backward by a powerful resplendent light and we fell on the ground in coma. When we regained consciousness after some minutes, we went to report to the Queen Mother in the submarine kingdom, and I told her, "We are unable to kill our target." She was furious, determined and defiant. She said, "How is that possible? She must die and you are going back there to kill her." When I came back with giant spirit of destruction that the Queen gave me, We landed before my sister. As soon as we tried to stab her with the evil arrow, a powerful force projected us to the ground. For the second time, we returned to the Queen Mother to report this failure. She told me, "Daughter, since you are unable to kill her, you will try to initiate her in witchcraft so that she will serve us. The method of transmission will be food." I went to my sister and gave her food that had the spirit of witchcraft, and she ate my food that was bewitched and contained witchcraft spirit. When I came in the middle of the night in the spirit to take her spirit out of the body, I came with my guards, maids and butlers because I had reached a high level of power. But on that day, to my surprise, I saw that despite eating our food containing the spirit of witchcraft, the manipulation was powerless, and my sister's spiritual ears and eyes were not opened for her to see us and join us. I went back to report to the Queen Mother and told her, I gave her the food that was supposed to open her spiritual vision and turn her to a witch, but it is not working. We were bewildered, in confusion and powerless in the face of this situation, and we decided to give up after failing to terminate her and initiate her. The Marine Queen told me, "Let's wait when she is 7 and 8. When I was a witch I was restless because I wanted every child to become a witch, and I was transmitting everyone the spirit of witchcraft through food. When you become a witch you would also want everybody to be a witch like you. That's how I began to spread witchcraft at school among my friend." It is surprising to see believers refusing to evangelize even members of their own family, yet the Bible say you will be saved, you and your family. I told myself I can't be the only one who is a witch, everybody must become a witch. It was through food that many in the classroom became witches. When they ate my food I came in the night and called them. As a result their spirit left their body and they joined me in the spirit and we headed to the gathering of witches. One day a lady friend of the family brought a prophetess at home, and the latter told my family that I was a witch. My mother came to ask me if I was a witch. On that day I confess witchcraft. At that moment I wanted to give up witchcraft so as not to hurt my mother, but this prophetess that was supposed to deliver me was also a witch, and when I was taken to her for deliverance prayer, it was in the middle of prayer that she received a call from my grandmother the witch, who told her, "Do not try to deliver her, otherwise I will kill you." Since the prophetess was inferior to my grandmother she gave up the so-called deliverance. She only pretended to continue her prayer of deliverance. At the end of prayer she told my mother, "Your daughter is free from witchcraft and her deliverance is over." However, I knew that she was lying. Still I did not want to humiliate her. When I traveled back to the marine world, the Queen asked me, "How could you abandon the luxury and wealth of the marine world because of false promise of that God? We have all the glory and wealth in this kingdom." She instructed me to kill the new baby boy in the womb of my mother, but all my attempts to kill him failed. I hit the baby in the womb with a stick but I was unable to touch his life. Then I hit my mother with the same stick in order to kill her, but she was out of reach. When the baby was born he was sick all the time but God protected his life. Nevertheless there was witchcraft in the family and no one was prospering. People went to university but were blocked and in bondage of poverty. Other became robbers and bandit because of witchcraft. My brother had an issue with his leg because grandmother was coming in the spirit to twist his leg. Since there were many witches in almost all the family, I went from house to house to seek collaboration of witches of all these families to seek assistance in my purpose, which was to kill my mother and brother. When I enter a family of witches and told them my mission, since this family had serpent witches they accepted my offer and we agreed to share the flesh and blood of my mother and brother in case we managed to destroy them. Serpent's spirit was deployed in our house to destroy my mother prayer's life and finances, but my Christian auntie that often came to visit us, always frustrated and foil all the plans I was conspiring against the family, for she had a discernment and sharp spiritual sensitivity that enable her to act against negative vibration she felt in our house. I was furious against her but I felt powerless and unable to do anything against her. Every time she came to visit us she exposed my witchcraft and I was frustrated seeking a way to retaliate against her. Since the enemy Satan knew her capacity he sent her a husband that was a witch, in order to undermine her faith and capacity. This witch was a member of our gang of witches. In the end-time Christian that have God potential are tricked by the devil to marry evil agent and witches. When I scanned my aunt's life, I found that she had anger and aggravation in her life. She get angry easily and struggled to control her temper. I sent her a wind of manipulation and bewitchment. As a result, conflict and misunderstanding between my mother and my auntie became frequent. I installed antenna and camera in the house, and the house became an airport where wizards landed their flying engine. Since I did not like the name with which I was baptized, I was summoned to the marine world, where a board containing a list of mermaids, diva and siren was showed to me, and I was supposed to choose a new name for myself. My attention was on the siren Mirabel, but it was the name of Jezebel that I chose, and this name of Jezebel gave me more power and authority. I became cold-blooded and wicked, inclined to commit evil and destruction. When I returned to Earth, I caused traffic accident and attack babies in the womb. I dominated people around me, for I was inhabited by the siren. I became arrogant and fearless, seeking battle with pastors. One day I passed in the street and heard Christian praying in the church calling fire, and I felt that fire even if I was passing. I scolded these people who wear makeup and pray with painted face. They mean nothing to me and their so-called God is nothing. At this point I was cunning and powerful, and I never missed my target. The Queen Mother called me and said, "Jezebel, get in that church and destroy this pastor." Initially I hesitated, but I took courage and entered the church like an innocent girl. I noticed people distracted, talking on the phone, others sleeping, and there was distraction. However, the pastor was powerful and seriously preaching. I said in my heart, if we let this pastor move forward, he will become a greater danger. He must fall down once for all. The following day I came with my servant, a water diva and siren. I also brought my serpents. I put the spirit of seduction in this diva and I told her, your purpose is to bring down the pastor through sensuality. I had 10 eyes in order to see all and control all. When I sent the water diva against the man of God, I also sent one of my eyes to be with her. The siren was a beautiful lady, and I was at home watching the siren in this mission inside the church. Everything she did inside the church was to attract the attention of the pastor. I said to her, the moment the pastor liked you in his heart, we have won. The pastor was already showing interest to the lady. When the service ended and the pastor went home, I told the lady siren not to follow him at home. I wanted to minimize the chances of failure. When the pastor got home, I sent him mouses and cockroaches to monitor him and identify his weakness. I told these animals it does not matter if it will take months, you must monitor him and find his weakness and report to me. Sometime later they reported that they found the pastor weakness, which was money. He was complaining about money all the time, saying the church gave me nothing. I said, alright, money is what I am gonna use against him. I am not sending anyone, I will go by myself. When I came to church, I took the appearance of big and posh lady, and I came out of luxurious Jeep brand, but in real life I was a young girl who was poor and never had a car. Everybody attention in this church was on me and they were intimidated. The pastor preached and prophesied and prayed for people. During offering time I gave more than everybody else. The following day it was the pastor and me in his office. I said, man of God, I have a problem of delivery, I don't have a child, pray for me. He promised to find a solution and I became a member of this church. Month later I informed the pastor I began to see result and I gave him a big offering. He said, that's a lot of money. I said, it's fine, more is on the way. He bought instrument and built the church with evil money. The moment this pastor took our money and began to use it without praying seriously for it, immediately we capture his gift of prophecy and revelation. We capture his anointing and his star. He could no longer hear the voice of God and was separated from the presence of God. We placed a snake that was a demon of sickness on the ground before the door of his office, and when he walked the serpent enter his feet and beginning crawl inside his body. As a result he became sick. When he was sick we decided to burn his church. After many days the serpent reached his heart. That's when he heard the news that the church was burned in fire. In truth we decided to burn this church because he has built the church with the curse money of the marine kingdom and bought instrument. When the serpent that crawl in his body reached his heart he died. The second pastor was preaching house by house. When he came to my house, he told my mother, you must be careful, you don't know the person living with you. I was angry to hear these words and I threatened this pastor. The latter understood that I was suspicious and began to come to preach my mother every day. As a result, my mother began to have more revelation and more dream of my activity. I was under pressure to confess and abandon witchcraft. I told myself I have already reached a higher level, I cannot abandon. I was told that God is dead and does not work. I was told that the earth is nothing in comparison with the unseen kingdom and realms of the fallen angels. This earth served the marine kingdom. The earth technology come from the submarine world, just like the earth fashion and the trends of the earth come from the kingdom under the sea, and those who dress fashion and are attached to new media gadget are servant of the marine kingdom. Thus I found no motivation to abandon and I warned this pastor, whatever you are doing will not work. I came to discover that this pastor had a weakness, which was woman. I suggested to the pastor to court my mother. Since he was weak in sentimental level, he did not even protest and oppose this idea, and since he agreed I bewitched him to do it. But my mother, who was already strengthened by his preaching, said no to him and told him not to come back again. I sent evil spirit that enter the bandits. These bandits beat him and he was crying to God when I appeared to him and told him, I am the one who sent these bandits. If you continue to come to my mother I will finish you. He said, I have faith in my God. I said, when bandit were beating you, did your God come to save you? Finally I decided to finish him. I chose a lady of the marine kingdom and told her, your mission is to seduce the pastor because his weakness is woman. You will make him fall and leave him with the demon of madness. When the pastor saw this woman in the street, he could not resist the power of seduction and began to court the lady. She was so beautiful that they had sex. The demon entered the pastor through sexual contact and these demons rose up to the brain of the pastor and they hit his brain and he became crazy. That's how we got the pastor and in the end he became mad.